Hey guys, it's the Comic Book Junkie here again. Just submitting a video here for Bigeez Comics. He has a subscription contest going on, and he was asking people to submit 5 or 10 books that they would like to get slabbed, if they could get books slabbed. He was also wanting to know which company he would go with to get slabbed. I'd probably go with CGC. Man, I'm not planning on getting these slabbed, but if I was going to get them slabbed, I would go with CGC simply because they seem to put more of a value on eBay on CGC versus some of the other ones. So I have picked 10 books here. My first book is Iron Man number 128, The Demon in a Bottle story. The main reason I like to get this one, I just love this cover, and I just think it was such a good, powerful storyline where, you have Iron Man, this superhero, and his biggest villain is alcohol. I mean, it's a great lesson to, kids, and I just thought it was an excellent book. I just love this picture here. My next book is the Avengers number 48. That's the first current Black Knight. I just really like the cover there, the horse, him flying on the horse. Is just a really neat cover. Then we have the actual first appearance of Magnus the robot fighter. I really liked the Valiant run of this. I have all those, and I have a lot of the old Gold Key ones. This one I picked because it's the first one, but there are some amazing old Magnus Robo Fighter covers, the painted covers, that they just don't make covers like that anymore, and I think they're pretty neat. This one's not in the greatest shape. There's a lot of spine ticks, and it's mainly all issues with the spine. The rest of the cover is pretty good, but I just really like this character and think that it's a pretty neat book. And we have the Defenders number 1. If you've watched some of my other videos, I'm a big Hulk fan, so I like Doctor Strange too, but this is a cool run. I have all the Defenders. I have a complete run of that, including their first appearance as well. But it's a series that I've enjoyed, and really just like the red cover here. Just a pretty neat book. Then we have the first appearance of Luke Cage. I wish I had a higher grade copy of this. I got this really cheap in a back bin. It was like $5, and it was a couple years ago. And you have the history of this book, being the first black superhero that had his own title. The Black Panther had his book before, but this is the one that person had their own title. But just the way this cover looks, the old with the girls on the side of the bar, and the dice and the cards. I mean, just a amazing book. Like I said, there's a lot of issues over here. I mean, the black's totally off here. A lot of dings at the bottom, but I'd love to have a higher grade copy, but these things go for so much anymore. But maybe someday I'll get one. We'll see. Here's the first appearance of Deadman in Strange Adventures. I picked this up at a convention, and I like Deadman. I love this cover, but this also has a little personal meaning to me because I went to this convention with my son, and I was really nervous. I've only gone with my oldest, and he was only 7 years old at the time. And when we went to this convention, I was thinking, oh boy, he's going to get bored. He's not going to let me look at books. But he really wanted to go. I'm like, okay, well, I'll take you with me. And he dressed up as Iron Man for the convention. And the amazing people that are in the comic book collecting industry, it just amazed me that how they treated him. I mean, lots of people were coming up to him asking for his autograph, asking to get pictures with him, and he had the best time of his life. I mean, he was treated like he was a celebrity or something. And other people in costume would come up and they'd get pictures with him, and we got a lot of pictures of that too. And we only had a 1-day pass, and it was getting to the point that I was ready to go. He let me look at books, and there was no issues at all. And at the end, he's like, well, I don't want to leave yet. I don't want to leave. So it was so cool to see that the person that I thought would be bored and wanting to leave was pretty much the last man standing, wanting to keep going. So this book means even more to me. And this is a pretty good grade copy. I paid, I think, $50 for this at the convention. And it was like, I think it's 2 years ago now. Time kind of flies. It was at one of the Cincinnati conventions. And here's the first appearance of Havoc. I've always liked Havoc, but I really love this cover. I mean, the blues in there with the reds and all the people in the center there. It's just a really nice book. And, of course, XMen I'm pretty big fans of. This book is pretty high grade. There's not too many issues. There's a little bit of a little fold right there, and then a little tiny tick up here. And that's really it. I mean, the color on here is just great. Just a book that I love. Alright, now I've had these books on display in my basement. Someday I will show you off my basement. Which, side note here, guys, if you ever get a house down the road, having a basement is a good thing, because once you have a family, pretty much all your stuff you want to still be able to display, and a basement's a perfect place for that. But so here's number 142, and it's signed by Chris Claremont. This is one of the books that came in the collection I told you that I bought on one of my other videos, where I bought from book, was it 96 until 330 something. And if you can look at the quality of this is a very high grade book. Most of the books that came in that collection are of this grade. I mean, very high quality. The guy took great care of these books. Bought these after college. Like I said, it's the most value if I probably sold these things individually, which I probably would never do. But if I did sell them, it's probably the biggest return I would get. I think I paid like $350 to $400 if I remember right. But for the whole entire lot. Here's another one from that one. This is actually my favorite of the two, which is the first one. And this one is signed by Chris Claremont as well as John and Brian, which again came with that collection I had. This cover is great. I love the color on it. I love Wolverine sitting there with all the different X-Men that were dead. I mean, this story, I remember reading it when I was a kid, and it was a great book. Now this one I wish I had in a higher grade, but this is one of my all-time favorite books. Giant Size X-Men. Now this did not come with my collection that I bought. I think I paid like $25 or $30 for this. And you know that the cover is not as white as it should be, and it's got the main page is, looks pretty nice, but you can see there's some of there's little bumps on some of the cover in there, and just on the side there with the spine, and there's a little bit of a partial tear, which you see in a lot of those because of the size of the book. Excuse me. But I would get this graded simply because it's one of my all-time favorites. I mean, you got the first appearance of Colossus, first appearance of Storm, it's just some great characters. The first appearance of Wolverine and the X-Men. This is when comic book collecting for me became a serious thing, is the X-Men. That's when stories started to become high quality, and that's why I collected most of my books. It was for the story. And it was a shame that, of course, the X-Men to me was also the undoing of me collecting comics for a long time, and I've been back for a few years now, but when they started doing so many crossovers, it became impossible for me to continue to collect them because I was on a limited income at the time. So, well, that's all I have here are the books that I wanted to be slabbed. Check out Bigeez's comics, and I'll leave a link to it in the video. He's got some great videos on his site. He's does a good job at some special effects and stuff on there, so check him out. Thanks.